Cheers from Japan, I'm the Tokyo Toy Bastard, and today we're going to be talking about Henshin Cyborg, Microman, and some fun little knockoffs that came out in the 1970s and 1980s in Japan. So, quick little history here. Henshin Cyborg was originally a 12-inch figure line that was essentially just a recasting of the 12-inch G.I. Joe figure. In Japan in the late 60s, early 70s, when G.I. Joe was being sold through Hasbro in a licensing deal through Takara, it wasn't selling very well because, you know, Japan had just a decade or so had gotten out of World War II, and who would want to play with a bunch of American military figures if you had been a country that was essentially decimated by that country? So in order to boost up sales, initially they released the 12-inch G.I. Joe with Japanese hero costumes like Ultraman, Kamen Rider, etc. And those performed fairly well. And then to up the ante, they released it in a clear version with robot parts inside and gave it its own backstory. And then they also released different suits for that figure of Takara's own design. And then again, they released the classic hero characters of Ultraman, Kamen Rider, etc. Devilman. And that was in 1972. Okay, so they were very popular, but then there was an oil crisis, and they had to shrink things down a bit, and that's how they created Microman, which was a shrunk-down version of Henshin Cyborg. And I've written a whole history about the Henshin Cyborg Microman histories on my blog. I will link those articles below. But real quick, since I don't actually have an original Henshin Cyborg anymore to show you, this is a reproduction of the catalog. I have an original catalog somewhere. I can't find it, but in the late 90s, early 2000s, Henshin Cyborg had a resurgence, and they did some reissues. And one reissue I do have is kind of a weird color that wouldn't really fit what I'm trying to show off here. So another little interesting reissue they did was this little miniature version here, which is in an original style box. And they released a few different color versions of Henshin Cyborg. They had a silver chested version. They've all got these little chest engines inside and these little chrome parts in the head. So they had a silver one, they had a gold one, they had a flat gray one, and they had a blue one. So the blue one's probably the most iconic, I think. At least that's the one they used for this one. And so yeah, they actually shrunk this down to Microman scale and released it in a little series of best-selling Takara figures. And they had like a little Optimus Prime, they had a little Lika-chan, and they all came in this like kind of candy toy box set thing, Shokugan type thing. And it's a really interesting little set here. But yeah, I just want to show this since that's an example of what they looked like. So this in 1972, very hot toy in Japan. Let's put him down for a second. And then in 1974, after the oil crisis and stuff, they shrunk them down and they made Microman. Okay, so this is a special edition reissue. I don't have an original Microman. This is George, who was the very first Microman. This is a special glow-in-the-dark reissue, so he's a little bit more milky looking than the original one. Ugh. But you get the idea. So the Henshin Cyborg had the chest engine inside of the plastic. With Microman, they put the chest engine on the outside, and it's removable. And you could swap them out and stuff. And they just made the head chrome. It's a separate part. And interestingly, even though Henshin Cyborg was basically a retooling of G.I. Joe, later G.I. Joe shrunk their figures down to basically the same proportions as Microman and used the same kind of joint system with the O-ring and everything. So a little bit of interesting toy history there. So Microman was super popular, and they made so many different variations of Microman. This was the very first one, and he's got the bare feet. You may be familiar with the Mego version of Micronauts, which had boots instead of the bare feet. But yeah, Microman was very popular, and so was Henshin Cyborg. So in the early to mid 70s, you could see these on toy shelves everywhere. Now, obviously, back then there was a lot of bootlegging and knockoffs going on in Japan. I talked a little bit about that before in one of my previous videos, but we're going to take a look today at a few different knockoffs of these lines, and that I think are very interesting and that are part of my collection. So let's take a look. The first one up here is probably the coolest one. I got a lot of requests to talk about this guy. This is Dokuro-man. And it's actually written out in the same font as the Microman font. Let me see, do I have a example of the Microman font? I believe I do. Over here somewhere. That's right. Anyway, it looks like that. Except this says Dokuro instead of Mikuro. So basically the only thing that's changed is the Do. And Dokuro means skeleton. So it's Skeleton Man. And they've done it in kind of the same thing as the Henshin Cyborg. They've got it in its clear body with, they've got the, they've basically just got like a little sheet of chrome film inside the body and the chest cavity with a chest engine gold stamp on top. So it's kind of a two-layer thing. And the face is a skeleton. You can see there. And he's got the bare feet and everything. I've never opened this, but you know what? For the video, I think I might, because this is just a little staple system. I can pry those open and recard it for display. So you know what? I'll open this up for you guys. Give me a second. Thank God for this little handy tool that I got in a junk bin. Let's see. Let's just get one side. Two staples on one side open. This is also how they package like a lot of soft vinyl toys. So you can usually just kind of pry the staples open and remove the figure without damaging the package itself. Now this is really old plastic though, so actually I'm gonna turn off the camera and make sure I don't make any mistakes. Alright, so I've got it open. Looks like I just needed to take that one off, so let's slide this gentleman out. I've heard that these are very fragile, which I can imagine. Does his head have a rubber band on it? Yes, his head does have a rubber band on it. Interesting. Okay, so here is Dokuro-man in all of his skeleton-y glory. And he is articulated, it seems. Let's see how these joints work. By the way, if you're looking to pick up, maybe it's not articulated. Okay, so yeah, it looks like they did just cast Microman straight up. Let's see the comparison here. They just cast it straight up. So the joints look like they are joints, but they're actually just solid cast. So they basically just took a Microman, changed the head sculpt, and plopped it in a mold, and yeah, no articulation at the knees. But yeah, these are pretty rare figures. They used to be more common, and these were sold on these large sheets. There was like these large sheets that had big header cards at the top, and they would have I don't know, 20 or so of these just kind of lined up in different colors, lined up this way and down, and they were sold really cheap. Microman itself was really cheap at the time, but now if you're looking to acquire one of these guys, you're gonna have to go to like Yahoo Auctions Japan through a site like Buyee or DE Japan. I reckon using DE Japan, way less fees, and you can use PayPal and stuff to pay. But these guys are gonna run. If you're lucky, you might find one for $40. Generally, you're gonna pay closer to 50. And you'll often find them in group lots for a little over 100 for 2 or 3. So, yeah, these are really cool little figures. Let's stick them over here next to Henshin Cyborg and my glow-in-the-dark Microman. All right, and let's see what we got up next. Sorry, I just realized this awesome artwork underneath here. You've got the skeleton with the chest engine and stuff on the backing card of this Dokuro-man. Sorry, kind of glossed over that after I got him out of the package. I was just worried about breaking him. Anyway, really awesome little figure. Alright, the next figure we have up here was something I picked up recently as well that I think I showed in a pickup video. That is Joint Robo. Joint Robo is kind of a long-running series of toys, and there are various incarnations, but this particular incarnation came with bubble gum, or Fusen gum as it's known here in Japan, and these were basically omake bonus toys that you could get free with bubble gum, produced by Lotte, and there are various different sculpts. There's at least 3 different unique sculpts that I know of, and they all had different weapons. So you've got different guns and swords and whatnot, and they all had different images inside of their chest cavities, their little chest engines. This one's got a magnifying glass. Let's see if I can get that better focused. I don't know, it's hard to get this guy focused. Yeah, these are really cool. And these are obviously a cash grab, basically playing on the whole Microman, Henshin Cyborg craze that was going on in the 70s. Here's another one here that I have opened up. He's got a different design inside, and he's got a sword. And there were various different Micromen that had like chrome bodies and whatnot, so, and even knights, and lots of other robot-type characters. So these all fit in. And although these aren't quite as much of a knockoff, I mean these are pretty close to what I would consider a knockoff. And collectors of Microman and things like that, you know, obviously this is something that they would probably want to collect as well. I would know because I am, and I do. So yeah, not gonna talk too much about these guys. They're cool. I'll set him over here in the little collection pile. All right, so now for something a little bit different, something a little bit non-humanoid. Yes, sir. They also made Godzilla versions of these guys. So these are also similar to the Ultraman. These were considered like, you know, kind of candy toys. You buy these at a candy shop, and they were also sold on the large header card. Oh my gosh! I just knocked everyone over. Large header card with like various of these guys kind of stuck to it. You can find images of those on Google. And they came in 3 colors, actually. 3 that I know of. So you got your chrome blue here. And I've also got a red one. Mwah. So yeah, they're just done in clear plastic with just that chrome blue film in the middle. Just like Ultraman was. So I consider this to be like his little pet. Ultraman's little pet. Oh, that one arm is kind of articulated. Oh, I don't want to break it. For the love of Christ. All right, let's have him here with his pet. Come on, Ultraman. Love your pet. There you go. Let's take a look at the red one here. And yeah, these were like super cheap back in the day. These were probably 100 yen or less. But now, and these also came on cards like this, which I cannot find the card. This one was carded. I don't know where the card is. If you want a carded one, you're gonna pay similar prices, like 40 to 50 bucks each. 4,000 yen, 5,000 yen. I just really need the green one so I can have the complete set. They're really loosey-goosey. I mean, these are very cheaply made. But yeah, those of you guys that wanted something Godzilla related this week, Godzilla Relation. Godzilla Relations. Okay, so that's all of the ones that I have now that are the clear with the chrome inside as far as the knockoffs and stuff go. I do want to do one more little bonus round here with a couple more figures. So if you're familiar with the Microman line, another line that came out of or alongside of Microman line by Takara in the 70s was the line Diaclone. And Microman with Microchange and Diaclone ended up becoming Transformers as we know it today. But originally Diaclone were basically like little vehicles that had little pilots inside of them, and there were a lot of knockoffs of those as well. So like going back to the joint Robo here, like Diaclone was obviously an influence as well as far as these guys go, because they were basically little die-cast figures with really simple blocky shapes, and they were really small. They were much smaller than this. They're actually called Inchmen, and I don't have any Inchmen on me because I don't collect. I don't have any legit Inchmen because I don't collect Diaclone. But essentially, they're an inch. They're about this big. So if I were to have one next to here, it would be that big. And I do have something that's that big that I will show you in a second, but I'm saving that as a special surprise. All right, so real quick, I do have this kind of slightly larger Diaclone knockoff, and this is another one of those things that you could find at like candy shops and stuff back in the late 70s, early 80s in Japan. And it's just like this little slightly 2-inch man, a 2-inchman Diaclone knockoff dude, riding this awesome like monocycle. And this is a friction toy. As you know, I love friction toys, so let's give this guy a go. Whee! But yeah, these are awesome. I found this at Drawd. I found a lot of cool stuff like this at Draw here in Tokyo and Koenji. Check out Draw if you ever come visit Japan, if Japan ever opens back up to tourists, which I hope it will. All right. Here we have a Diaclone knockoff Ultraman, which I didn't want to show this to explain what Diaclone was. I wanted to save it for the last figure because this is something that is just amazing. Man, this is a really rare item. Anyone that I've shown this to, as far as Ultraman collectors or Diaclone collectors, no one has mentioned that they've ever seen one of these before. I happened to stumble upon one of these through some various searches I was doing in Yahoo auctions, and I saw it. I was like, oh, it's a Diaclone knockoff, and then I got closer and I was like, wait a second, that's Ultraman. Yeah, it's Ultraman, but as a Diaclone Inchman, and this is one of my prized possessions. It's just awesome. Yeah, so it's die-cast metal with the little plastic joints, just like some of the later Inchmen were. Some of the Inchmen were not like that. Some of the Inchmen had kind of the opposite thing going on, and the Inchman also had magnetic feet, which this one doesn't have. But yeah, I just figured I would include this. This is related to what I was talking about, just not the clear and whatnots. But yeah, this collection will keep growing. You know, I'm always finding more stuff. Most of the actually, except for the Godzillas, those other 3 knockoffs were things that I found last month. So yeah, this will keep going. If you enjoyed this video and you want to know more about Microman, Henshin Cyborg, or more knockoffs, I've got plenty of the other stuff. I just wanted to keep this all kind of related to knockoffs, as far as Microman and the related franchises go. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more of knockoffs, if you want to see more Microman, if you want to see more Henshin Cyborg, if you want to see more of you know, another toy line that you've never heard about or don't know much about. That's what I like. That's what I like doing. That's what I like doing. I'm gonna do less of the just like, look what I found this week videos, and focus more on just kind of showcasing some interesting toy lines. I will still be doing junk bags whenever I get a junk bag in, but yeah, that's it. You know, that's it. That's it for this weekend. I don't think I'll make any other videos this weekend. I went a little too hard last week, so let me know if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and also down here I'll put the links to the articles I mentioned, and there's also a link to my Patreon if you'd like to see me improve the quality of this little channel I have here. I've upped the quality a bit, I think, since last year. Man, I was watching some of my older videos where I'm filming with a webcam and there's 0 cuts, and oh god, I'm hungover the entire time. Ugh. I'm gonna redo some of those videos for sure. Let me know which videos you'd like me to redo. Definitely want to redo some. Alright, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave some nice comments. Leave some angry comments. Just leave a comment. I'll see you next time.